Jimmy Carter made several important political moves during his time as President of the United States. Here are a few of his most significant. Camp David Accords. In 1978, Carter helped negotiate the Camp David Accords, a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel that ended years of conflict between the two countries. The agreement was widely praised and helped establish Carter as a champion of peace and diplomacy. Panama Canal Treaty. Carter also negotiated the Panama Canal Treaty, which transferred control of the canal to Panama and was seen as a major step towards repairing relations between the U.S. and Latin America. Human rights. Throughout his presidency, Carter was a vocal advocate for human rights around the world. He made it a priority to shine a spotlight on human rights abuses in other countries, and his administration put pressure on governments to improve their records on human rights. Energy policy. Carter was deeply committed to addressing the energy crisis of the 1970s, and his administration pursued policies aimed at reducing dependence on foreign oil and promoting energy conservation. He also established the Department of Energy to oversee energy policy in the U.S. Diplomacy with China. In 1979, Carter normalized diplomatic relations with China, a move that helped to open up China to the world and paved the way for increased economic cooperation between the U.S. and China. These are just a few of the most important political moves that Jimmy Carter made during his presidency. While some of his policies were controversial at the time, many have been seen as important steps towards promoting peace, human rights, and sustainable energy policy. Certainly. Here's a blog post on former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. James Earl Jimmy Carter Jr. was the 39th President of the United States, serving from 1977 to 1981. Born on October 1, 1924, in Plains, Georgia, he grew up on his family's peanut farm and attended the U.S. Naval Academy, where he graduated in 1946. After serving in the Navy, Carter returned to Georgia and became involved in politics, serving in the Georgia State Senate and as governor of Georgia before running for president. Carter's presidency was marked by a number of significant events, including the signing of the Camp David Accords in 1978, which helped bring peace between Egypt and Israel, and the Iranian hostage crisis, in which 52 American hostages were held for 444 days in Iran. He also championed human rights and worked to advance the cause of peace around the world, earning him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002 for his efforts. Beyond his presidency, Carter has remained active in public life, working on a range of issues, including global health, conflict resolution, and democracy promotion. He has also written numerous Nonetheless, his commitment to public service and his dedication to making a positive impact on the world have left an indelible mark on U.S. history and the world stage. In conclusion, Jimmy Carter was an important figure in U.S. history, both as a president and as a public servant. While his presidency had its ups and downs, his commitment to promoting peace, human rights, and public service will continue to be a source of inspiration for generations to come. There were several political initiatives that Jimmy Carter planned to undertake during his presidency but failed to accomplish. Here are some examples. Energy policy reform. Carter had proposed comprehensive energy policy reform that would have reduced the United States' dependence on foreign oil, but the plan was not implemented due to opposition from Congress and special interest groups. National health insurance. Carter also proposed a national health insurance program that would have provided universal coverage for all Americans, but the plan did not gain enough support in Congress. Immigration reform. Carter supported immigration reform that would have provided a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, but the proposal was not passed by Congress. Middle East peace negotiations. Carter played a key role in brokering the Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt, but he was unable to achieve a comprehensive peace settlement in the Middle East. Human rights initiatives. Carter was committed to promoting human rights around the world, but his efforts were often criticized and he was unable to achieve significant progress in many countries. James Earl Jimmy Carter Jr. was the 39th President of the United States, serving from 1977 to 1981. He is known for his focus on human rights, environmental protection, and international diplomacy. Carter was born on October 1, 1924, in Plains, Georgia, and grew up on a peanut farm. He served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, then went on to attend Georgia Southwestern College and the U.S. Naval Academy, where he graduated in 1946. After leaving the Navy, Carter returned to Georgia and became involved in politics. He served in the Georgia State Senate from 1963 to 1967, and then as governor of Georgia from 1971 to 1975. He ran for president in 1976, defeating incumbent Gerald Ford in a close election. Carter's presidency. He established the Carter Center, a nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing peace, democracy, and human rights. He negotiated the Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt, for which he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. However, Carter faced several significant challenges during his presidency. The U.S. economy struggled with high inflation and high interest rates, and there was a crisis in Iran when militants seized the U.S. embassy and held American hostages for 444 days. Carter's efforts to rescue the hostages were unsuccessful, which contributed to his defeat in the 1980 presidential election. After leaving office, Carter continued his work in international diplomacy and human rights. He has been involved in efforts to promote peace in the Middle East, and has worked to combat diseases such as guinea worm and river blindness in Africa. Carter also founded Habitat for Humanity, a nonprofit organization that builds homes for low-income families. Carter is widely regarded as one of the most respected and accomplished former presidents. His commitment to human rights and international diplomacy has had a lasting impact, and his efforts to promote environmental protection and energy policy reform continue to be relevant today. Jimmy Carter had a long and distinguished career as a politician, humanitarian, and human rights advocate, so it is difficult to pinpoint his single greatest achievement. However, there are a few accomplishments that are widely regarded as his most significant contributions. One of Carter's most notable achievements was his role in negotiating the Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt in 1978. The accords established a framework for peace in the Middle East and led to the signing of a peace treaty between the two countries the following year. For his efforts, Carter was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. Carter's commitment to human rights was another major achievement. As president, he made human rights a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy and worked to promote freedom and democracy around the world. He established the Office of Human Rights in the State Department, created the post of Assistant Secretary of State for Human Rights, and supported the establishment of human rights organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. In addition, Carter's efforts to promote environmental protection and energy policy reform were significant. He created the Department of Energy and the Synthetic Fuels Corporation, and promoted conservation measures to reduce the United States' dependence on foreign oil. He also advocated for increased use of renewable energy sources such as solar power. Overall, Jimmy Carter's greatest achievement may be his commitment to promoting peace, freedom, and human dignity around the world. His efforts to negotiate peace agreements, protect human rights, and promote environmental sustainability continue to inspire people around the world.